Hey guys, welcome back. Instead of doing the Q&A I was going to do today, I've decided to try to put words around and articulate something that has been brewing for a few weeks now, but until today I just couldn't even try to put words around it. But it's been so profound in the way that I see things and the way I feel that I thought it was time to at least try to articulate it. So here goes. It started when I listened to the book Welcoming the Unwelcome on Audible by Pema Chodron. And if you have not had a chance to listen to or read anything by Pema Chodron, I highly recommend her. You could even just check her out on YouTube, Google her, look at good read quotes from her. I guarantee she will bring joy to your heart and a smile to your face. So anyway, back to when I listened to her book, Welcoming the Unwelcome. Something shifted in me when I read that. And what I saw that felt so profound was that, as far as I can see, we are designed to feel, honor, welcome, and love all the parts of ourselves. All of it. All the things from our past that we'd rather forget or push away. All the things that look shameful, unacceptable, ugly. All the things that we have been conditioned, innocently conditioned, to either tuck aside or turn around so it looks positive, or we just look at the happy side of it. And all these things we've been taught are perfectly innocent. And I can see now deeply, deeply how our lives are so much freer and more peaceful and authentic and joyful. Did I say joyful? And joyful when we pause and really, genuinely allow those parts of ourselves to fully be seen and held. So there's a ancient Buddhist practice called Tonglen, Tonglen, Tonglen. And it's also known as the practice of taking and sending. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about this because it's something that I experimented with, played with over the last couple weeks to see if I could get a deeper grounding or a deeper sense of this ability to sit still with some discomfort long enough for it to bubble all the way up and be seen and held and loved and then healed. So here are a couple notes I took. This Tonglen, this practice of Tonglen, is an opportunity to love all the parts of ourselves. And it's a way to awaken that compassion that we have naturally in our hearts, whether we know it or not. It's there. And this ability to love all those parts is also there. So basically, it's an in-breath and an out-breath. And on the in-breath, we welcome feelings of shame, fear, sadness, anger, and rage to come close to us. We hold it like a small child or a delicate flower. We actually honor the feeling that's arising exactly as it's arising. And then with each out breath, we offer unconditional love to whatever we're holding. In the loving of what was once our enemy, we heal. One of the phrases that Pema uses throughout that I actually wrote down in a couple places in my office so that I could remember to say it, is this: may this discomfort be a seed to my awakening and a seed to the awakening of all who suffer. And then one of the greatest things I tried as I was playing around with it was replacing the word discomfort with something more specific. So for example, may this feeling of unworthiness be a seed to my awakening and a seed to the awakening of all who feel unworthy. Or, may this fear be a seed to my awakening and a seed to the awakening of all who feel fear. I began experimenting with this phrase and with the in-breath and out-breath of taking and sending and taking, the practice of Tonglen. And what I saw, again, I don't have all the words to articulate it perfectly, but each time I allowed, one of those scary stories of you can't do this, or you're too insecure for that, or you're not good enough for this, or you're not worthy unless you. Every time those stories would come up and the accompanying feelings of tightness, rigidness, tension, instead of trying to quickly turn that around to something positive or brush it aside as, oh, that'll pass, which was all fine. I've done that for a long time and it kind of worked. But this felt like a new level of freedom, a new level of peace, a new experience of joy that honestly, I don't think I've ever felt before. Let me see if there's any more notes that I have to read to you because I took a bunch. So Tonglen awakens our compassion and introduces us to a far bigger view of reality, a more expansive view of who we are and how the world works. When we do the breath work, the breathing in and the breathing out, we breathe in for all of us and we breathe out for all of us. We use what seems like poison as medicine. It's just absolute. I was just flipping through all my notes to see if there's anything else I've just got to share with you. I know this isn't as put together as some of my other YouTube videos, but I just wanted to put this out there. The idea of learning to be with the scary stories, the yucky parts of you, the shameful parts, the parts you don't like, the parts that society says is unacceptable, and learning to hold those, cradle them, welcome them, and love them so that they may be healed completely. I invite you to practice, play with it even, experiment a little, and if it's not comfortable, no problem. If someone had suggested this a year ago, I would have run for the hills. So if this doesn't feel comfortable, don't worry about practicing or experimenting or playing. But I just wanted to say that for the last couple weeks, this has been something that has been more profound than I had ever expected it to be. I highly recommend the Pema Chodron book, Welcoming the Unwelcome. Yeah. And then again, the phrase, may this discomfort be a seed to my awakening and a seed to the awakening of all who suffer. And by awakening, of course, if you've been watching my videos, you know I'm simply referring to that beautiful rediscovering of who we are before and beyond all of our cultural conditioning and our programmed beliefs, a returning to the truth of our perfection, freedom, peace, and joy. Thanks so much for listening to this rambling. I hope you enjoyed it or at least got a little something out of it. If you haven't taken the time, do me a favor and just real quick hit subscribe, and that way you will be alerted when future ramblings like this come along. I'll be back next week with the next Q&A. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.